morning everyone, it's Carol here at Collage Channels. Big one welcome from me as always. Lovely to have you with me. I've got my bits and bobs here for Margarete Miller's Collage Challenge for 2024. If that's a new challenge to you, please look in the description box. I'm going to do assignment number 41. I've got the prompts here and my prompt pieces already lifted out. I've got my sleeves rolled up and I'm raring to go. Didn't have any trouble at all trying to find my prompt pieces for these prompts this week. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and I'm hoping that that's not going to be famous last words. I am hoping that this one's going to come together nice and easily. I do have an idea how I want to place my items, so yeah, let's see what I've got anyway. So the first prompt, a list of a few ingredients for a favourite recipe. Because one of the prompts lower down is a house, I chose the recipe for a happy home. So I decided that I would print it out on this piece of background paper that I created ages and ages ago, and it's been here in my stash. It's a technique using distress inks and cling film, and I thought this would make a nice background. I had intended to print the whole of the recipe a bit further over, but I didn't quite manage it. So I've got a portion of it down here, and I'm hoping that that will be enough to create a bit of a background for my collage today. The second prompt is something you find in your bag or your purse. Last time Margarete Miller did this prompt, I think it was last year, it could have been earlier on this year, I chose to use a business card because I had one left over from a craft fair that I had visited. So obviously I couldn't use that idea, but I knew that I had in my stash this little image of coins, and I thought that would be lovely to use because invariably we do carry some coins in our bags these days. It's not all card purchases. And the next prompt is something mechanical. So I've got this lovely little image of a car here. Now you can see why I'm holding these two together and making a point of trying to hold them together. This little car has got some lovely coppery tones in it, and I have a few coppery tones in that money. So I'm hoping to make use of this bottom right hand corner next to this little vehicle, and now you can see why I've tried to bring in some coppery or orangey tones on my background. I didn't want this because it is too dark, but I did want this lighter area here, so that's why I've gone with those three. The next prompt is something that looks like a secret code. Well, I've printed this off, and this is a font that you can download to use on your computer or your iPhones or anything like that, and I thought it actually does look like a secret code. So I've got that. A house. Well, again, the last time Margarete Miller used this prompt, definitely last year, I used a hen house as my image. I did think along the lines of something like a houseboat or a lighthouse, but I decided, well, actually, why don't you go with something normal this time? So I've gone for this lovely little painting here of a country cottage, and I'm going to use that. Just love the bluey colour tones in it here, almost like a Payne's grey, adore that colour, and some greens. And again, I knew that I used Payne's grey in here, so I thought that would be a good match. And finally, the bonus prompt is a key. And again, last time Margarete Miller used a key as one of her prompts. I actually used a tiny little metal charm, so I couldn't use that again, needed to look for something different. So I decided I would again go for something ordinary and normal and go with a house key of sorts, and I found this lovely ornate one, and the colour tones again were just perfect for what I was looking to work with here. So I've got deep blues here, pale greens. There is a little bit of a hint of a red up there which could work with the chimney stack up there. It's not that noticeable, so it won't matter. Right, so those are the pieces I've chosen, and as I say, they came together really easily this week. I'm going to put that up there where I know where it is and I can keep an eye on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut my key, fussy cut my little vintage car, and I will be back when that's done. See you in a moment. This is my vintage car, all fussy cut now, and this is my key. I haven't cut the inside. There's some slight shading inside this key, so I think that'll be okay. And I've got my little image here, and I was thinking that I would have my vehicle on that corner there, drop down so that I can get quite a bit of this image showing. And as you can see, there's some white here and here, so that will help my little car to stand out. Make use of this sort of tucked in there like that. It would be nice maybe to have it something like that, but I've got to get this in, and I was thinking having that down this side. So I'm just going to fiddle that in there like something like that. Bring in my key, and this is where I don't know exactly how this is going to work. We'll need to have my key grounded on here somehow, so maybe something like that. I've still got a gap here, so I need to move that over, because I thought I could make use of this tucked in down the side, and you can see I've already trimmed it so that it is the same height as this piece here. I might need to move everything over because that secret code is going off my guideline there, but for now I'm just roughly getting a placement. My car is going to have to go higher and over more than I want, but never mind. Roughly I was thinking something like that, and then this is where this comes into play. So I'm just going to try and hold everything in place, which isn't going to work, so I'm going to get out some paper clips. I've been having a little play with this one once I switched the camera off and started to add the paper clips, and it just didn't seem like it was working. I'm not convinced that this is much better, but I have snookered myself with my inability to print in the right place on here, and this is the only piece of this background that I have. So I've got a couple of options. First of all, let me explain quickly what I've done here. The car is still in this bottom right hand corner, and so is that secret code down the side, and I've changed the money, pardon the pun, from this bottom corner over to this side, and I could always use a little bit of this portion in here to do a top and bottom opposite corners if I wanted to, but I'm going to hold that in reserve for the moment. So I'm thinking that my key looks best here, and I've got it half on, half off, both the code and this picture, so that I get a bit of a gap here so that I can actually distinguish the key or the shaft of the key from this image. So I'm more or less happy where it is on this left hand side. Having it on the right hand side and having it down here felt like I'd got too much going on there, really, in this bottom corner. I'm not dropping it down any further because I like just having a little portion going off the bottom. I don't think this works on this right hand side, which is where I originally thought it could go, for the simple reason that I end up with this bit of writing down here, which was some further ingredients. Now, if I cover it up with the vehicle, then I lose the list here. If I chop it off, I think I'm going to have a weird edge here, because this actually sticks out quite a bit on the right hand side, and it also leaves me with all that area up here, which again, if I chop that off, I've got a blank piece up there, and I don't think that coin image would help that much. What I could do is make use of part of the list, maybe use 3 of them, and cut it off along the bottom here, so all these extra ingredients are cut off, and just create a border all the way around and just have those few ingredients peeping out there. Now, I think that probably would be the best way forward. But the other option I've got, which is a bit of a risk because I don't have any idea at all whether it would work, is to make use of these ingredients that are down there. So for example, if I just pull that over so that the wording says add friendship and joy with laughter, bake with sunshine and serve daily. Then I could trim it off down this edge, which would leave a bit of the background here. I could go across the top with a bit of background and down here with a bit of background, and that word would disappear. And I think that would look nice. I could also do a little bit of paper piecing and use these ingredients here, which are hidden behind, chop those out and maybe paste them around the edge of my image here. That's a bit of a risk whether it's going to work or not, but that's what I'm going to go for. So the first thing I need to do is to trim away that word helpings down there. So I really need to chop it in front of those words there. See how that placement works. I think that's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue behind this vehicle here to hold it in place for me. I need to disassemble this left-hand side because what I need to do here is actually to get this secret code glued down the side of my image. So I'm just going to glue my secret code to one side like that. Now I need to get my coins glued in the background here. Now originally I was going to make use of those coins, wasn't I, round here, but that isn't going to work for me. Still drawn to doing that, but it isn't going to work for me, so walk away, Carol. And I need to have it this way round. Try and roughly position it how I need it to go, which is something like that. And then my key was going to come down the side there. So I'm going to go with something like that. I'm going to give myself a border up here, about that much. And coming out here, I'm going to come out to beyond the car to start with. I may well go back in there and trim it down to here. Still may well cut out those pieces, I don't know yet. This, if I have it like this, should read loyalty mixed with faith, blend it with understanding, add friendship and hope, laughter, bake it with sunshine, serve daily. Just want to see what it would look like if my vehicle is sticking out slightly. Yep, I do like that. What I'm going to do actually is glue the coins onto the back. Then I can trim this right hand edge down. So I'm not going to get that much showing here, but I am going to trim away that portion across the top there. So that's going to be like that. Just going to put a bit of glue behind here. And I'm going to take away the portion that hasn't been glued on this side. Rip that away and go in and glue the rest down. And as I said, I'm going to trim away down this right hand side so that I only get a little bit of that vehicle showing. See what this looks like tucked behind up here. Thinking that that might be nice to soften that corner up there. It's not necessary, I don't think, because I could reduce that a little bit more, and I think I will, just slightly. So I'm going to put that piece up there. The other thing I need to decide is whether or not I'm going to have a go at using some of these ingredients around the outside of my piece. And the only way I can see if that's going to work is by actually cutting them away and trying to use them. And I'm going to trim these and try placing them around my piece. Not sure if they're going to go at all, but I want to just see whether I can get it to work. As you can see, I've cut a few of those little ingredients out. Easier said than done, especially with a guillotine, probably better with a craft knife. And what I've decided to do is put a few of them around my piece. So I've got one up there, which is 5 spoons of hope. I've got 2 cups of loyalty, which go there. The last one I'm going to put on is this one, which is 4 cups of faith, or 4 quarts rather, of faith. And I'm just going to have those few dotted around my piece, because I think to put any more on is overkill. I'm not even convinced that these are right on here, but obviously I need to get in some ingredients for this recipe for a happy home. So I'm going to just pop those 3 on. So I'm going to glue them very quickly, and I'm going to glue my main piece then to my background, and I will be back to go through the prompts with you. And there we go, everybody. That's my finished assignment for this week. Not at all as I planned it or envisaged it was going to go, and yeah, I'm still happy with it though. The only thing I've got left to do is obviously to go through the prompts with you, rub away my pencil line, and then take some photographs for you to have a look at the end. So very quickly going through the prompts, a list of a few ingredients from a favourite recipe. So I have a few ingredients. I have one here, and one here, as you've just seen me do, and I have a few more ingredients down in that corner down there. Something found in your bag or your purse. Well, I had that image of coins or change, so I've got one little portion there and another one up here. Something mechanical, well, that's my lovely vintage car down there. Something that looks like a secret code, this bold lettering down the side there. A house, my beautiful little cottage there, and finally the bonus, a key, and that's my lovely one down there. So thank you so much everybody for watching. Hope you like this one and are as pleased with it as I am. I hope you'll join me next week, but until then, happy crafting and have a lovely week. Take care. Bye bye now.